I got I got suspended from Twitter for 24 hours because someone had the username Bart Harley Jarvis, and I told them to I hope they fucking die.
Worth it.
Yeah, that's okay though.
24 hours? Fuck it, dude.
Yeah. I did actually get banned from Club Penguin though. I think I said like penis or something.
Hello, and welcome to the Bumpy Soup Podcast, the only podcast with a badass opening hymn.
Yeah! What's the finale?
Damn.
Yes.
Woo!
Beautiful.
Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. Yeah. Well, hello and welcome. I am Alec. I am here today with Emily,
Yoo-hoo.
Brad,
Hello.
Aqua Supreme,
Bump it up!
Yeah.
Maddie,
Hello.
and joining us from the big old SLC is Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he? Is he here?
TBD.
I don't know.
He's somewhere
there.
there.
He's above our favorite. I don't know. Punch all of them.
Get him! Dunk him!
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you have no idea how
Yeah.
good that was.
Yeah. If you are listening on Spotify, YouTube is a different experience and you have a visual experience because that's YouTube.
Yeah, sometimes
It's a video platform. I don't know if you've heard of it before.
Yeah, you can share.
It's an
videos
emerging
on it.
technology.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have opinions on Apple Music versus Spotify?
What's Apple Music?
Apple Music pays better.
There is one essential difference. Spotify is built like a search engine. Apple Music is built like a library. I like Apple Music more for like organization and shit, but Spotify does a much better job of like introducing you to new stuff. Like their Discover Weekly is way better than Apple Music's version.
The curation of
and
stuff
like
tailored
the
to
shared
you.
playlists and shit is like way better than what Apple Music can do. But in like a general sense of just listening to the music that I already have and know, I prefer Apple Music.
Interesting.
I just use Pandora.
Wow,
Oh my
2008
God.
over here.
Hey, who did we meet? Yes, well, this is what we've been up to this last week. We did a friend reunion with some old friends of Alex.
Yeah, that's right.
We went to Vegas last weekend and
Got an
hung out with
Airbnb.
them.
Yep.
And Gage, shout out.
Shout out Gage. Shout out Bobby. Shout out Ducky. Shout out Ashton. Shout out Krista.
Gage uses Pandora still.
Does he still?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember maybe 10 years ago when I was using Pandora and Spotify was like a new thing that I wasn't sure about.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
Pandora is still a really cool idea, and it's just
Yeah.
that like in the era of being able to choose whatever music you want to listen to it every time and not being beholden to albums, it kind of seems like irrelevant, but it still is a cool idea.
It
you know?
is. Yeah. And I guess it's refreshing to not like have to choose, right? It's just a stream essentially.
And it's gonna be the same
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also Spotify has that at this point.
It's just that Pandora had it like first popularized, and then
This is true.
Pandora is like the Tinder of music streaming services.
It really opened
Yeah.
up Pandora's box.
Oh my God.
Sorry, everyone.
we regret to inform you that was
I discovered a couple bands through Pandora, so it wasn't all lost.
Yeah, like my Tumblr music phase was like almost all Pandora, just because like you'd put on like Two Door Cinema Club radio, and then you find everything else through that.
You find Tokyo Police Club.
Yeah,
yep.
You find Bombay Bicycle Club.
there's tons of clubs: Science Club, Math Club,
Yeah.
Bombay's Bicycle Club.
Bombay Bike Cop Club.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hello everyone.
Hi.
Hey,
I like what everyone's wearing today. Can I just say? I I really, really like Brad's
Brad's
polo
got
button
the fit right
down.
now.
It's this vivid
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob
Squidward, Patrick.
Oh, nice. I didn't even
luau
sell them.
shirt
Nice.
going on.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Target.
Any female representation on that shirt?
I don't think Sandy is spreading her cheeks on here anywhere.
That says a lot about you, Brad.
The patriarchy exists in Bikini Bottom, too.
I got this vintage shirt. It says Bob Dylan. I think he's like a politician or something.
Yeah, name 3 Bob Dylan songs.
He does songs too.
I saw him open for Imagine Dragons one time.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that John Hinckley Jr. is on Spotify?
Let's go, John Hinckley
Who's John Hinckley
Jr.
Jr.?
The dude who tried to shoot Reagan.
Oh.
Why would I know the name of the shooter of Reagan?
Why? Because he's a hero?
History.
We're going to go ahead and cut that.
You want to talk about that? The TikTok
Yeah,
you saw?
please do share.
That's kind of the gist of it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was like Gordon B. Hinckley's son or something like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking
John
it's-
Hinckley Jr. So, okay, to be fair, like his actions are based, his motives behind it are not. It was like he thought, it was like he
This
wanted
is-
someone to
this
think
is-
that he,
This is Patreon exclusive content.
Aqua's opinion does not represent the group's opinion.
Unless you're paying us.
It kind of does.
Listen, being anti-Reagan is not controversial at this
Being
point.
shooting
Saying-
a president is a little bit controversial.
He didn't die from it. Nothing bad even happened.
I don't like where this is going. We need to restart
Okay,
this. Hello, and welcome to the Bumpy Suit Podcast, a podcast that does not endorse presidential assassinations.
No, but Ronald Reagan's grave is a fantastic urinal. The amenities there are incredible. I would highly suggest. But it didn't happen because of the assassination attempt from John
Someone
Hinckley Jr.
has said something like, "I'm going to assassinate that ass," right?
Oh yeah. Well, Earl Sweatshirt has a song where he says, "I put the ass in assassin."
Gotcha. Nice.
He also has the line "All American Terrorist," which I think
Nice,
is
yeah.
I mean,
Topical.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't supposed to be. It's just a cool wordplay. Alliteration.
Did Earl Sweatshirt try to murder Reagan?
That's what he was in jail for. That's why they had to free him.
Right. That's why he went to Samoa.
Yeah. We're real Odd Future fans around here.
Yeah.
I was in 8th grade.
I like your Utah Jazz.
Thank you. Yes, I got approached outside of their house by one of their neighbors, and he was like, "Hey, you like the Jazz?" And let me tell you, I like the Jazz in the fact of I'm from Utah and I like sports, so I like keep up with the Jazz. But I don't care about the Jazz. But I bullshitted my ass off with that conversation, and I pulled it off. I'm pretty sure it seemed like I knew more about the Jazz than he did, and I did not. So.
Well, you also have like a Jimmy John's hat. That's is that about the
well,
same
I know
amount
a lot
of
about
carrying?
Jimmy John's too, so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't work at Jimmy John's.
It'd be a shame if you had a cool shirt to go along with your hat.
Would be.
My
be
a Utah
damn
Jazz shirt
shame.
or a Jimmy John's shirt.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it would be cool if I had one. You're right.
It would be cool.
Man, if only I had a cool shirt.
Yeah. So I don't know if my thing's gonna stretch long enough for this. So it was Aqua's birthday recently.
Hey,
We had ordered him a present on his birthday, but it wasn't going to get here until like a week
Aqua's
ago.
closing his eyes.
Aqua's
yeah,
closing
my
his
eyes are
eyes.
closed. My hands just over my face for appearances.
Can you speak into that? 'Cause I don't know.
And he's holding up what looks like a jersey. Oh my God, it's a jersey.
Yo,
It's an RSL jersey.
Oh, it's on the back. Let's fucking go. Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
This is so wholesome.
Fuck yeah.
Show Patrick. Patrick, check this out. Now turn around.
Okay. Dope. Fuck.
Yeah, let's go, baby. So, Aqua is officially a part of the RSL team. And on that note, we're going to jump right into Supreme 60 Seconds of Soccer.
And your time. And your
Hold on.
time.
Time's up. about to start. It's going to start real soon. It's going to start
right now.
Okay, welcome to Supreme 60 Seconds of Soccer. Let's go.
Let's go.
Firstly, Real Salt Lake, change the name of your stadium. Sorry, okay. All right, moving on. RSL beat San Jose 3-1 this weekend with goals from Loffelson, Gomez, and Savarino. However, I didn't get to watch this game because of fucking Apple TV. Listen here, Apple TV, I hate you. For anyone who doesn't know, Apple TV bought the rights to MLS this season, and now they're gatekeeping it. It's only $13 a month, but fuck that. I don't have to pay for the Premier League. Why the hell would I pay for MLS? It's not even a good product. I pay for UCL, I pay for La Liga, I pay for Bundesliga, and basically everything else. Our domestic league should be free to watch. And you want to know who's responsible for this? Donald P. Garber.
Fuck
and
you,
you
Donald.
want to guess how much hair he has on his head? Zero!
Bald
No
man,
more
bald man,
bald
bald man, bald
MLS
man, bald
commissioners.
man.
I'm done with it.
that.
I'm through with them. Of course, another bald man ruining soccer. Get out of soccer, bald men. Except for Brad. He can be in
I have
soccer if
nothing
he
to
wants
do with soccer. It's okay.
That's why we love him.
He gets
See,
a pass.
he knows his place. Listen, Donald Garber. Listen,
Oh, time's
Apple
up,
TV.
time's
Shut up.
9 seconds up.
-9, but that was my fault for not catching it. So
Donald Garber. All right.
He's down, yeah.
So last week, Emily, Scat, and I all got a point for correctly predicting an RSL win. So
Yeah.
Emily is
Wow.
now tied on points
do
with
I?
Alec. but
Did I
moved
predict?
forward.
Did I predict an RSL win?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You, me, and Scat all predicted you predicted a 2-1 RSL win. So okay, moving on to
What
predictions.
was the actual score?
3-1.
Damn.
Okay, so moving on. This week we got RSL versus Seattle.
Ooh.
Sorry, I did not set this up. Alec?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle 3-2.
3-2 Seattle. Okay, Emily?
Seattle has a lower altitude than Utah does.
Where are they playing?
They are playing in Salt Lake.
I'm going to say an RSL win, 3-1.
That's a really interesting point. Do you think that altitude level actually affects like performances
Yes.
of different teams?
Yeah, RSL has a really good home record most years because most teams can't run for an hour and a
breathe.
half. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's literally like it's a thing with the Jazz. It's a thing here. It's a thing for Denver
Yeah,
teams
they,
too.
Yeah,
they booby
this
trap
is-
the air.
Yeah,
This is why
exactly.
athletes train in northern Utah. Yeah.
Yep.
Brad?
RSL 2-1.
2-1 RSL. Maddie?
0-0.
0-0. Wow. All right. Pat
We
Dick?
love a realist.
2-2.
2-2. Okay, and I'm gonna go for an all-time RSL versus Seattle classic score. Well, it's actually not because we won in penalties, but 1-0 to RSL. That's what I'm saying. All right, that's it.
Wow.
So what has everyone else been up to this week? Brad?
Hell.
Hell.
School.
Yeah, it's
fun.
week's coming up.
I built a
Ooh.
motor, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our project was to like turn a pedal boat, like a 2-person, you use your feet to pedal a boat thing. Design a motor to make it a motorboat. And it was a very difficult project and it didn't really work. And we put in like 100 hours a piece on it, a team of 5, like each of us.
But didn't you say that like every year this is this project that doesn't work?
Yeah, and so last year, like one group got it to work out of like 4 or 5 different groups, and the department head of the engineering department at Utah Tech was like, okay, everybody failed. Let's make it harder. So now let's make them actually like build a motor from scratch instead of just buy one that actually works.
Boo.
And yeah, it didn't go too well.
So
But
how does
Public education.
it actually
dollars.
worked out of the water. We like made a motor that spun. It just couldn't handle water.
Weight.
Yeah, and being underwater, being waterproof. The only one that did work was like a motor above water, and then it ran a chain down to a propeller underwater. So it was pretty cool.
So, like, how does grading work on an assignment like that? Because you've got a few different levels here. You've got group project, boo.
Yeah.
You've got, I don't know, like an assignment that most people fail.
I think it's this year it came down to all of the other professors who were involved with the project and seeing what we were going through, just speaking up for us and being like, you gave them so much work to do this semester. Like, everybody needs to pass. And I think that's just where they're at.
Cool.
They're going to have us like peer review each other, and that's it. I think just
Nice.
because we all took so much time to get this thing that's never been done before by the school.
Hopefully everyone else in
Yeah.
the class likes
So
you
were
and your
you-
team.
Were you in the class last year that failed?
No, so this is just a junior
Oh,
project.
so you benefit from all their failures.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Nice.
Everyone else's failure has culminated in one win for Brad.
Yeah.
So good.
Sounds like you got a participation grade.
Yeah, I really did, but it was cool to
take
like
those when you can get them.
I have a video and I can say like I've designed and built a motor, even though it didn't really work. So that
That's
looks
like
good
the
on
fine
a
print,
resume.
if fine print is even required.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a bunch of nerdy shit. School is pretty much over. I'm going to Vietnam in 2 weeks. Fuck the USA.
I
Just
was
kidding. I
about
didn't.
2 seconds away from saying, like, "Oh, have you like built any new like attack helicopters recently?" Or been I'm working on that stuff. No.
Oh yeah, now I'm going to Vietnam.
I'm just thinking about the da 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 red, white, and blue. It's like the song that's in Forrest Gump when they go to Vietnam.
It's
Yeah.
not House of the Rising
Unfortunate
Sun.
Son.
Unfortunate Son.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Haven't you been to Vietnam before? Is
No,
that right?
I've-
Or you went to Thailand?
No, I've never been out of the country.
Oh, weird. Why did I think that?
Jeff's been to Thailand.
Maybe that's
Maybe.
what it is. What are you going there for?
It's really just the question is really like, why do we not prioritize seeing parts of the world that we've never seen before?
Yeah.
You know, why don't we just like live a little bit and
True.
save up to go anywhere other than here?
Mm-hmm.
Where I hear they just live a much simpler life and just enjoy just making enough to get by and just, you know, just hang out and survive, and they're loving it.
Yeah, a lot of people here make enough to get by but aren't loving it. Yeah.
Because they don't go to McDonald's enough.
Oh my god.
No, but I just found like a group who was getting together through this like YouTuber who I watch who's into like finding exotic fruit. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to get into this niche part of YouTube and watch this guy who like opens a weird looking fruit. And then I just like subscribe to him. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to do like a meet and greet for the first time. And I've never been to Vietnam. So let's all go together. And he like got a group of like 10 people. And so now I'm one of those 10 people going with a random
That's
YouTuber.
cool.
But
What's the YouTube channel?
Weird Explorer. So shout out Jared Rydelic.
Cool.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's cool.
I hope you have an amazing time. I'm sure you will.
It looks pretty sick. Like they have a whole itinerary for us, and like there's a travel agency like tourist thing out there. They've got all this stuff for us to do. It's gonna be fun.
Lots
I
of
can't
exotic
wait.
fruits
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Is there a part you're looking forward to the most?
I'm just excited that we're kind of just traveling through a lot of different things. Like there's a lot of variety in the trips, like going to markets and going to temples and museums and historical sites and like some of the tunnels built during the wars and rafting down the Mekong River.
Ooh.
Yo.
Yeah, we're going like on a Vespa tour because like everybody just drives Vespas around, not really cars. And yeah, it all just sounds really exciting. I can't wait.
That sounds sick.
Do you have any funnier answers for any of that?
Maybe you're driving 69 Teslas around.
Teslas?
It's Vespas.
69 Teslas. You just got an app on your phone that drives them
Yeah.
for you
That is, you got a
until
fleet.
they like start on fire spontaneously.
Classic.
Shout
Yeah.
out Shane
Shout
for
out
that
Elon.
joke. Miss
Yeah.
you. He's coming back next
Shane
week.
loves Tesla. He talks about it all the time.
Yeah, big Tesla guy.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Tesla Vespa guy.
Exactly. That's what he drives.
I'm gonna get sued for defamation by Shane,
by
our
saying
friend.
that Shine, yeah. This is slander. I got some stuff to talk about. So firstly, Record Store Day was this weekend. Did you guys go for Record Store Day anywhere?
No.
Or you were in Vegas
Busy.
too?
Mm.
Man.
So-
Hang on, is this a national holiday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the 22nd every year, but it's just a Saturday in April, and they have a bunch of cool exclusive Record Store Day releases. So yeah, the ones that I saw just at our local record store, Rock House Records, shout out Rock House Records.
Shout out.
Yeah, they had like there was this Lou Reed white vinyl of it wasn't Transforming, it was one of his other albums. I bought it was this live recording of the Black Keys' first ever live recording as the Black Keys, and it was like a live album, so that was pretty cool.
Dope.
Yeah, Record Store Day is cool though. Record Store Day is cool though. I wish that it seems like a good amount of people knew. Everyone that was in there looked like more Tumblr than I was, so it felt like maybe that it wasn't as widespread as I thought it was. But
was that a derogatory comment?
Take it as you will.
I am a big fan of Krungbin. I've mentioned that on the pod before, and I've been a fan for a long time, and I got my first vinyl of Krungbin not too long ago, like in the last 6 months at Rock House Records.
So this is one thing that we were talking about and that I was thinking about a lot, because like I don't even own a record player, but even if I did, like you guys do, like how often do you use it? Like
it's not set up right now.
Yeah,
we have plans
like,
to get it set up again, but
like you have to, it's a thing that you have to sit down and do, and you have to choose to do it. And like with how accessible music is nowadays, it's just like it's something you can choose to do, it's just not often. And so like it's interesting what records have become, where like it's definitely just a memorabilia thing that has this usefulness to it. And because of that, like that's one of the weird things about buying records now, is it's like, well, I don't want to just like buy records that are just of albums that I like necessarily. Like if there's like a limited edition or something, that makes sense. But like I want to get things that are like, I don't even know. Like I went for the Black Keys one that was the first pressing, because it seems like, oh, this is a rare thing, but I don't even know if that makes more sense. Anyways, just interesting.
Yeah, I think it's like a novelty thing. Like I collected records for a long time, and I think it's just it's about like owning it and feeling it and the intentionality of it, right? Like I think that there is something to having to go and choose a record, and you're like kind of committing to at least one side of a record, and you're like taking it out and you're putting it down, and you can look at the artwork and everything. That's just kind of engaging with the music a little bit more,
for sure,
than doing it like if you're streaming.
And you have to pay attention to it too, right? Like
we don't have to, but I think that it's good too.
Or like, it draws more attention.
Yeah, back at the jam spot, we used to have a record player set up, and we would listen to certain records, and you're also limited in that, and so you end up having like a smaller sort of set of albums that you listen to. I guess like there's huge records, but you end up listening to a lot of the certain ones pretty frequently, and you kind of gain a certain thing. Like for example, Hyperview by Title Fight is one that we listen to a lot there, and I like kind of a different connection with that than I would have had it been just streaming. And
it's also interesting considering like the difference between different types of physical music media, right? So there's records, there's also CDs, but the thing with records are kind of prettier and they kind of have a more vintage feel to them and stuff, but CDs are way more usable, right? You can use them every time you're in the car. You can't use a record unless you have a full different device, right?
Absolutely.
And so it just, anyways, it's just interesting. I don't know if there's anything, it's just as technology goes defunct, we will find different uses for it, and like stuff will still, it becomes kind of just like cool decor to have around your house though, you know what I mean? And much less like you can use it. I don't know, just interesting stuff. Yeah.
It's like typewriters.
I'm still like, I just remember the first time I like put a vinyl record down, and I was like, I don't know, like 19 at the time. Like I'd never even really seen vinyl in action, but I was just so like intrigued by the concept that like this is analog, these are literal grooves, you can see that like it is just going through vibration and making a sound wave, and all of the engineering involved to make this happen is just like insanely crazy. And it's like the most pure version of that person's recording, just like engraved into something. Like that is the definition of like physical media, as close as you can get to a physical media of like sound. And so I find that really cool. And also, like, you can just, like, make really cool colors with it. I have a Father John Misty album that, like, you open up and it's like a pop-up book. And then it starts playing music, like, like the opening track of the album in, like, a greeting card style. And that's just, like, the coolest shit ever. And that's, I think, when I was, like, sold on vinyl and I just bought, like, a shit ton of them for a while.
Book?
Yeah.
I have bad news for you. They're not all like that.
Well, well, yeah, but you're right.
But I think that you have the opportunity
damn,
to do really cool physical stuff with that, right? Where you have like those sorts of things.
It's like a thing that I'm proud of owning. It's like I want to show people. I'm like, check this shit out. Like,
Yeah, you know, that's
I want to
one
see
thing.
that. Bring that over.
It's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know, bands used to know when they put out an album and they had album artwork and stuff, like, or like, they'd know that everyone who listened to the album wouldn't go and see this artwork, but some people would. Big fans would just flip through it just when they're doing stuff. Now, you put out an album on Spotify, you're like pretty much guaranteed no one's going to look at this random other artwork that you also selected, because, you know, it almost lessens the connection with the artist by not having that physical.
In a certain way, but it also like strengthens it, because then you have the fans that are really invested that actually own this stuff and see that things, right? They get more opportunities to engage with the art, with the artist, and through like a different medium, like the physicality of it is a different thing. Speaking to kind of the thing that it can do, I actually remember I guess I'm technically still part of the Deer Hunter Lifetime Club, and one time I just got a letter in the mail from them, and it was this like, it was kind of basically a piece of like super thin cardboard, but it had engravings in it, and I could like put it on my record player and play it. And I got it in the mail. It's just like, it's a letter, you know, it's like a card stock. But you can do stuff like that because you just, if you have a reader, you can just put it on and do that. And so there's a lot of opportunities for really cool merchandising sort of things there, which I really like.
Yeah, music media is just weird, right? It's just crazy how the culture has changed, where like people used to like, you know, go hang out at a record store and stuff, and now like that's not even a thing that you do if
They
you're
just play
into
Fortnite.
music. Yeah,
Exactly.
well, but like you wouldn't like
Are
go
there
to a
record stores
record
in
store and
Fortnite?
expect to like go find
No.
people who are into music.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, like that's not where people who are into music hang out. It's where people who want to buy music at that moment are. You know.
Yeah.
I think a big thing that's changed, and I don't know if this is true because I didn't exist in the 70s when records were the only medium you could buy, but it seems like back in the day it used to be like you could put a record on and like test it and hear it while still in the store. And today, because I worked at a place that sold records, you cannot touch the record player if you're not an employee. You're just not allowed to. And maybe if you ask really, really nicely, they'll put a record on for you, but it plays over the whole sound system. So everyone in the entire store will hear it. And if it's not one of the ones that would be on the store playlist, then we can't play it for you.
Yeah.
This is like, this is going to tie into what I have to say about the Watch of the Week a little bit, but there's something about like the pursuit of something that the internet has kind of muddled a little bit, right? Like the pleasure you get when you find something physically in a store or like come across something serendipitously, like discovery is a little, like the hit of dopamine is a little cheaper with the internet around.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can find cool stuff. Like I remember I found up in a Graywell, the Graywell at the Orem University Mall. I found a 12-inch record of, it was a Terramelos By the End of Tonight split that I didn't even know existed. And it was so sick to stumble across this like random record from a band I loved that I didn't know was out there in the world. And you get like this huge, like, oh my God, like this has to be rare and like not talked about. And I think that's the benefit of stuff with physical media, is that you can find it, but you can also lose it. You know, it can be places, and it only is certain places. And because of like the kind of costs that are associated with it, you don't have an unlimited amount of it. There's only, you know, like
It's special because of that.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the original NFTs, if you will, you know?
It's just a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. And that's why I like, you know, film photos and stuff like that too. And also cassettes. Cassettes really fall into this conversation, which I did some for some bands for a little while. And there's something about cassettes that's really rad, and like how you can hold it and feel it, and it's soft, and you can put it in your pocket, and you can store them and show them off really well.
You can turn them into a pipe.
There's also like a nostalgia factor there, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
some of my first physical media was on tapes. It was like the Lion King book on tape.
Wait, yeah. So hold on. I have a really bad one, but does everyone remember like what their first like? Okay, first like music that you bought, but specifically like record.
I'm pretty sure that mine was They Make Beer Commercials Like This by Minus the Bear. Either that or The Big Dirty from Every Time I Die.
Mine was Fleet Fox's self-titled.
Like vinyl?
Yep.
I think it might have been Lana Del Rey. I'm like, this is going to be fitting to have on
That is
vinyl.
like the album to have. Like
Yeah.
she's just that type of artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got Vampire Weekend and Alt J.
Nice, solid.
My first ever vinyl is Jay-Z Linkin Park Crash Collision Course.
Let's fucking go, dude.
I'm gonna be real.
That
Like
shit-
it's a cool album, experimental.
Yeah,
Throwing
yeah.
those two together. I mean, it's just new metal and rap, but like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, no, dude, that shit slaps. Let's go.
that's just something I have to live with for the rest of my life. Just I was an 8-year-old. I was like, oh, let's go. Yeah, anyways, it's cool. Though.
No,
Patrick,
that's
you look
dope.
very excited.
Oh, yeah,
No,
Patrick.
I just
What's
thought
yours?
that was fucking hilarious.
What's the first one? What's your first vinyl?
It was either Amnesiac or Hail to the Thief.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait, how old were you?
Also by Jay-Z and Linkin Park.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Right,
You can't
yeah.
go wrong.
Speaking of
old were you?
go ahead.
It was fairly recent. I think I was living at the Casa because that was the first time that I had like a record player, I think.
Yeah,
Or
see-
it might have been when we were hanging out at the Jam Spot. So it was within the last like 7 or 8 years probably.
And see, and that plays into the whole thing of it. Again, it's like if it's not usable, why have it? You know, and it's like
Right.
but,
Yeah.
yeah.
That kind of reminds me though of like the Jam Spot and records is that I have a copy of In Rainbows on vinyl, and I went to a Smash tournament, a Smash major up in Salt Lake, GTX 2017, and I wanted to get something signed by like my favorite Smash players. I'm like, I'm not gonna bring like a copy of my game. That's boring. So I brought a copy. I brought the vinyl record of In Rainbows to this Melee tournament. I have a bunch of Melee pros sign it.
Oh, that's dope, actually. That's so sick.
Yeah. So I
That's
got
a
it.
one of a kind.
How many of them do you think actually like listen to radio?
A lot of them actually. So Hungrybox definitely talks about Pew Pew U
I don't know,
and
it's pretty
SFAT.
niche.
Actually, so I gave it to SFAT, and then I ran into Pew Pew U later, and those two were like they were definitely like on a team at that time. Pew Pew U is a little more inactive now, but when I finally found him, he's like, dude, yeah, he told me about this. He told me there was a guy with this record running around. But maybe the worst part of that though is that I gave it to Hugs. Hugs is a Samus player, and he signed it. And then later, I see an Instagram post by him where he was like, like there's kind of Smash etiquette at tournaments, and like after you lose a match, like you don't really want to talk to someone. But after I lost to West Balls, this guy came out to me and had me sign this, and this is one of my favorite records. So I signed it, which kind of helped me feel good. But I was like, I'm a fucking asshole.
It sounds positive at least. Though.
Yeah, I don't know.
So-
Shout out Hugs.
How do you feel about it's interesting. I didn't know that like Smash players were that kind of like connected with the community. How do you feel about like being able to meet personally people who you like, who are like kind of celebrities, like half celebrities?
So first of all, it was incredibly intimidating for me getting starstruck at this, which I haven't felt for a long time.
Well, the Milo concert, was
so
that before or after that?
That was probably after. I got starstruck at that too. Shout out Milo, not Yiannopoulos, or my uncle.
Important distinction.
But no, like it's weird Smash because that's like it really is a DIY scene. It's almost like almost like an underground like rock scene in a lot of ways that kind of formed itself. But being in Utah, you're so far away from any like potential majors that you just experience these people all through the internet. And so meeting them, even though like who they are, you've seen their personalities, they're just people, it's still kind of intimidating to be like, hey, I like you.
Well, I mean, because there's no difference between them and like your favorite musician, other than your favorite musician is probably more well known. But like, as far as your perception,
well, I mean, because of that kind of worry about it, I didn't actually end up going and talking to West Balls, who Patrick knows I have a connection with because I look like him. We both look like white guys that wear hoodies. Brown hair, baby.
Are his balls on the west?
I don't know, dude. Like all like
You met him in person, didn't you?
Yeah, did you not feel his balls?
It's when as he turns, it always faces. It's like pointing to Mecca. His balls always point west.
Every time he goes
He never
to sleep.
loses where he is, dude. It's like a
He
compass.
always knows whether he wants to or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, other people have to like lick their finger and like
He's just like,
wait for the wind.
Someone lick my balls.
no, I promise.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's like that strange sort of parasocial relationship that forms, and also there's a lot of esports players that have very terrible names because they formed them when they were 13 and they were playing with their friends, and they kept the name, and then they accidentally got really into it, and then now they're known.
Yeah, shout out rebranding.
Yeah.
Well,
Cody
also
Schwab.
shout out to not rebranding.
Dude,
I'm thinking about Alex Weewa, Alex Lamson. That's
Shout
been
out.
his like ex gamer tag forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think it still is. Alex Lamson, please confirm.
What was everybody's first like gamer tag?
Oh, I'm still rocking Rad Bradster from
Nice.
age 12
Nice.
on like
Rocking
everything.
Bradster.
email,
That's pretty good.
PlayStation Network.
Mine's pretty embarrassing, so I'll get mine out of the way. I was really into Coheed at the time, and my name was Coca Base 69, and this was before 69 was an ironic joke.
Coca base.
Coheed, Cambria, Coca. I played bass guitar.
Cocaine. He had a coke problem as a kid. As a Mormon kid growing up.
I played bass.
Yeah. Mine was pick your nose guard, because I played nose guard when I played football, and pick your nose guard. Yeah.
Sick. Maddie, you got one?
I never had a gamer profile.
No, but what was your
aim
Tumblr?
tag or- yeah.
What was your Tumblr? Or you don't have to share that if you don't want to.
I had a lot of Tumblr URLs. Increasingly cringy as time goes on.
Has to be.
It was My Night Shines, and then Kissed Without Love, and then now I've landed on Eucalypti.
Eucalypti. Okay.
Pretty happy
good
with that one.
That's cool.
There you go.
Wait, Emily, share yours, and then I
I
have to.
honestly can't remember my like AIM
Typical.
usernames. I wish I did though. And I didn't have a gamer tag until I was like in college, so it's not that exciting. But my current at right now is Basil Baby Uwu, and I like that one a lot.
That's
I was
great.
gonna say, yeah, my Tumblr for like when I used it for the longest time was Smells Like Ranch Dressing, because of the Black Keys video where it's like two little kids playing in the park, and it's Dan and Patrick's kids playing in the park, and then one of them runs over here. He's like, I don't want to play with him anymore. And he's like, why? He's like, he smells like ranch dressing. But our friend Connor, he had the best one, which was Watch the Sunrise Over Mount Diablo, which is
Fuck.
just so good. What a Tumblr name.
Patrick?
I think the first usernames I ever had, probably DJ Pat Dig $Wagsbra.
Dude,
Right.
classic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
fire.
And we have
One
to
of a kind.
explain that I had that's what I had him in my phone as, and I had the setting on at the time that it would read it out. So yeah, it would read it out as DJ Pat Dig $Wags bruh.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I only changed that within the last like 5 years to homogenized soy milk, which I am pretty much everywhere.
No,
it's
dude,
good.
banger of
I
a
fucking
name,
love
though,
it.
dude. Homogenized soy
That's
milk.
good.
I never forget
yeah, I
it.
love it.
Yeah. I think that like usernames are actually a really interesting thing that, obviously previous generations never had to do this, but there's like this weird opportunity for creativity and self-expression that people and specifically like kids have that ends up kind of being an indicator of a certain amount of personality.
For sure.
That
I think about this all the time. I have this weird thing. I don't know why it's always been a thing, but I like have to have multiple profiles on every social media site, like having alts and whatever. I don't know why. Any social media site I have, except for like Facebook, I guess, but even then I still have like pages and stuff. I just, for some reason, feel the need to create like these alternate identities that don't reflect myself. But another part of this is that like sometimes you think of funny names that you think are really good, and so then you create a new profile, right? Yeah.
Well, are the alt accounts that you like go to post different stuff that you don't want to have show up on your main account?
I call a lot of people on Twitter losers for their opinions. Yeah, and I don't necessarily want everyone to have to see that all day long.
I see.
But yeah, I don't know. It is like an interesting thing though. This like, firstly, just in the idea of it's like I've always wanted to like go by a different name, and like specifically if you're going to perform, it's always seemed like super obvious to me, like Aqua Supreme, having a separate name, a separate identity, and taking that online, it's also been super obvious, which is so weird for me then when you see people who have just their first name, last name as their, which is like, you were given the opportunity to do
you are
something cool.
exposing yourself if you have first name, last name. Yeah.
But it's like you have this opportunity to use something other than your name, to cool, whatever you want to make it. It's interesting when people don't take that opportunity to me.
Yeah. Well, I found that actually thinking about it, almost all of my names besides that one, usually have Alec or AW or something in them. Like on Cobalt, mine was Alec W2113. I think actually my first one was AWAGS. I don't know why, which is like didn't end up going anywhere. But I mean, like mine now is Alec Arborist. Like I always have my name in it, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I think it's like kind of wanting to stay a little bit grounded with the name and not having it be like a complete joke or a complete like fantasy.
So I have two questions.
Yes.
How do you delving into the same questions that we just did? How does Rad Bradster make you feel?
I felt like whenever I have to like tell someone my email at like, I don't know, like Best Buy or somewhere, I'm just like, okay, my email is Rad Bradster, and they say it wrong, and I'm like, no, now I gotta spell it.
But you also, I forget, you now have the best screen name of all of us, which is Bread Alien, right? Like,
that's not even the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Bread Alien came out in like high school because like somebody like erased part of one of the L's in my name. They're like, Brad Alien, and I was like, I'm gonna use that.
Brad Alien.
And then I kind of just
that's the IP of your high school nemesis or friend.
And I think I was just like making a Twitter for like the third time because I kept deleting Twitter and I couldn't remember my user, and I was like, well, I just need to make a new thing. And then I ran across Yeastmane, and it also just happened.
Oh, dude, also so good, Yeastmane. Yeah, no.
It's like I felt like I never had to explain that to everybody. It's just like, oh yeah, that is what it is.
Well, because Brad Alien,
Bread, and we were all just calling each other Maine all the time at that period.
No, that's also a really good, and you have two really good Scream names. Okay, my second question is, Patrick. Along these same lines, how does My Everything Burrito make you feel?
Dude, I am so proud to be like one of the only people I know that has had the same email since they were 13, because I got it 100% right the first time.
You did. Winning since day one.
My Everything Burrito.
Is that the only one that you have?
That's the only email I have.
You don't have like a professional like Patrick Swansboro at Gmail?
No. Everyone has always told me for like professional things, for like job applications and shit, I should make like a more professional sounding one. Every job I have ever told my email to, they've always like laughed and been like, "Oh, that's fucking sick."
Did you get My Everything Burrito from Adventure Time, or was that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys know who Indie Blue is?
No.
Indie Blue is a Utah influencer. She travels the world and posts like really quick cut videos of all the thrilling adventures that she goes on.
Okay.
Very rich kid, dad pays for my trips type energy coming off from her.
Okay.
Back in 2019, she posted something on Instagram just complaining about everything going wrong with one of the trips that she went to. And again, big my dad pays for these trips energy. So like you're going on a free trip, or like you have enough money for the trip and you're going to use your public platform to complain. So my friend Bree, hops onto Twitter and she says, "No offense, but Indie Blue is gross." Doesn't at her, not drawing any attention. She had maybe like 300-ish followers at the time. Just a very casual, I'm talking shit tweet. It blows up. We get involved with Indie Blue stans. And so one of, I guess one of her personal friends found Bree's tweet and jumps in and says, "You're a mean bitch. She did nothing to you or anyone else. She just lives her life. Fuck off with this shit. This shit is what's gross." Going into it, he is calling her a cunt. Everyone's calling her a bully, a cyberbully, telling her to kill herself. Like, they are railing in because she said Indie Blue is ... gross.
Did you say he called her a cunt?
Indie Blues.
Indie Blue's friend called my friend Bree a cunt for saying that Indie Blue is gross.
Okay.
And so I call him out on, he says something like, "Continue living your hateful lives." And I said, "We'll live our hateful lives. We're not the one calling strangers on the internet cunts for sharing an opinion." Bree gets blocked by Indie Blue pretty immediately. The whole time I'm trying to point out, no one would have seen this. Her tweet didn't get retweeted. This was way before recommended tweets. So when you said something on Twitter, it stayed in your following circle. Someone had to search her name, take a screenshot, and send it to her for this to be a whole deal. Her friends are the bad people in this situation. We do a little bit more stalking. We go on to Indie Blue's Instagram same day, find out that she's posted a crying video. Saying, "People are so mean to me on the internet, and I'm usually good at handling this. I usually don't let this get to me, but my mom has to read this. My dad has to read this. My entire family has to see all of these mean things that people are saying about me. No one would see this if you didn't search your own name."
Well, okay, so in 2019, Hootsuite existed, and it allows you to like have like alerts basically for if someone mentions a term on social media. And so like her team or whatever probably has Indie Blue on one of those alerts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And saw it, and
Indie
then
Blue and gross.
And also, if the worst things your parents see about you on the internet is that some strange 300 follower person says you're gross,
Well,
you're probably winning.
300 miles away also. Like, it's like, this is the story of my girlfriend bullying the biggest celebrity that Utah has, so I'm pretty proud about it. Pretty happy about that. Nice.
It's not even me doing the bullying. It's just me standing up for my friend who is cyberbullying,
Is this
but
still
she's
going
right.
on?
She is still blocked. But we do occasionally shit talk Indie Blue every once in a while. Here's what she's up to now. I found in searching for the messages and everything, a few months after Indie Blue had a baby in January of 2020, which means she was pregnant at the time of the cyberbullying incident.
Context.
Yeah.
Pretty related. Dej is blocked on Twitter by Riffraff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why?
Because like because one time, and this was also like similar situation. This was like 6-7 years ago before there were suggested tweets or anything. She tweeted something like, "Riffraff probably sucks dick" or something. And it was like the same kind of thing where like he 100% either himself or like his team were just searching his name on Twitter to find tweets that mentioned his name. And, you know, he didn't like message her or anything about it, but just like straight up blocked, and it gave her the notification or something somehow. So yeah, she's blocked by Riffraff for saying he probably sucks dick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Are you guys blocked by anyone? Anyone famous or anything like that?
Hang on. Alec got banned from Twitter.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna bring this up. So I was already like planning on quitting Twitter, but this is what made me like actually quit Twitter. Not out of anger, but just like it was a good reason to. I got banned from Twitter because I kept responding to Donald Trump. I got banned from Twitter because I kept responding to Donald Trump tweets with the word "die."
I got my account suspended in 2021 for tweeting "kill all men" in 2018.
Well,
Retrospective actions.
Misandry enjoyer. Misandry enjoyer.
Go ahead, Patrick.
I got I got suspended from Twitter for 24 hours because someone had the username Bart Harley Jarvis, and I told them to I hope they fucking die.
Worth it.
yeah,
That's okay though.
24 hours? Fuck it, dude.
yeah.
I did actually get banned from Club Penguin though. I think I said like penis or something.
I am currently on my soccer account on Twitter blocked by Real Salt Lake because I got really mad at them for naming the stadium America First Field. Yeah, I made a meme.
You know, they could solve that problem.
They could.
just
change the name of the
your
stadium.
America Last Field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
America
Also,
midfield.
Also, shout out to Max's soccer Twitter name, one of the best of all time.
Thank
if we're
you.
talking about great usernames,
What is it?
Holy shit, dude!
Soccer Amaretto Lime. Yeah, fire.
Banger.
Yeah, America Last Credit Union is also one of my Twitter alts.
ALCU.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Another one of my good Twitter alts is well, actually this one got banned, but it's BYU or BY. Wait, what was it?
BYUB.
No, hold on.
BYUOB.
BYLGBT.
No, LGBYU. That's what it was.
LGBYU,
Yeah, LGBYUT.
Oh, I said this, but this LGBTQAnon.
Yeah, real.
Okay,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Worth saying a second time.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone else says. Worth saying.
So I did have a question though, which is the use of the term gross in that tweet. I feel like the word gross specifically has taken on an entirely new meaning in like the age of Twitter specifically.
Originally, it was all about finance.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's definitely what I still think of.
Yeah, well, Indie Blue just has a lot of money, bro.
Indie Blue is the overall amount before taxes are paid.
Yeah.
Like she was maybe feeling targeted, bullied because of like her gross net worth or whatever, but she was probably also feeling pregnant and gross, and it was triggering.
But we
That's
do not
okay.
need to feel bad for Indie Blue.
Right.
No.
So it's not like necessarily about Indie Blue. It's more like I feel like the term the term gross for a while, at least, when I always assumed it was like grotesque. It's like something like goopy and nasty and kind of like infected or something. It's gross. But I feel like on the internet, it's a term that has been used to be more. I don't know. It feels larger and it feels.
Don't like it.
Yeah, but it's not like
Shameful.
gross. It's more shameful. It's more like it's more pointed and sharp.
Listen, kids, if you want to really cyberbully someone really bad, call them gross. And these are all the reasons why. It makes them feel grotesque and groupy and gloopy. It makes them feel groupy.
I mean, like I assume that your friend did not mean that she is like covered in pus.
Yeah, it was meant more in like she is entitled type and spoiled type of a way.
Yeah.
Gives the ick, if you will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but like a ick on like a social level, right?
Yeah, ick on like the fact of like, if you read the Communist Manifesto, you wouldn't be able to apply it to your own life because of the amount of wealth that you're dealing with here.
Indie Blue equals Bart Harley Jarvis.
Yeah, real.
I feel like she's maybe not as rich as she seems online because you get a lot of
Well, all I know is
Gifting
they're going to
and
like
sponsored
Italy and
trips.
stuff like that.
Sponsored
that might
trips.
be true, though,
Right,
yeah.
but you get a sponsored trip, you go onto your Instagram and complain about it. Like
Yeah.
that just
Even
screams
then it's
entitlement.
gross.
That
Yeah.
is gross
Yeah.
behavior.
Yeah. And
I heard something about they like the clothing brand released some merch and it was like a cop t-shirt or something.
all I know is this.
It-
This is
or like
the thing.
right during
I
yeah.
wouldn't really have any opinions about Indie Blue other than like the most annoying people in the world who have been mean to you before are always the ones who have "I love you, say it back" on their clothing, and it's just like this is so classic, like the worst person in the world, like, oh, love and peace and tenderness. It's like you are not a nice person. You can't just wear this and yeah. Anyways,
I don't know if I have too many opinions, but I do. Second degree connection.
Yeah.
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 Utah County is a small place.
Yeah, it sure
Yeah.
is.
Well, kind of going along with this, and this is just kind of a broader conversation, but I feel like, achieving any sort of kind of fame and recognition in the age of the internet, even, for people that do or do not deserve it, I feel like you get a lot of negative things said about people that have any sort of thing blow up in any sort of way, and I feel like that would be tough even if you do suck, and I don't think that we're gonna like blow up, but that's something that I'm kind of like wanting
We've
to prepare
already kind
for.
of experienced that on a smaller level.
Exactly.
I think if you're putting yourself on the internet for the internet to see, then you have to probably be ready on like some level for not everyone to like
Right.
you.
Well, the thing is that it's fair or not. If you put yourself out in the world, you're putting
Yeah.
yourself out there, right?
And if you
you're gonna take what the
complain
world
about
takes.
being bullied online because some 300 follower account, you're weak.
kind of, I don't know. I think that I would hate to hear that people like are saying mean things about me.
Well, I mean, the thing is
like
this.
a 300 follower account. That's us. Like, do our opinions not matter?
I know someone out there has said something mean about me at one point.
Right.
I'm sure more than one person has said something mean about me.
I loved saying things on Twitter so people would be mean to me. I loved like purposefully putting myself in positions to get cyberbullied, and I would say things that were just right, but people wouldn't agree with it. And
Sado-tweetikism.
Have you gone on Roast Me on Reddit?
Oh, you
There's
would.
the next
I
level
mean,
for
like
you.
I haven't posted on there, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do not think that I could deal with that.
No, I couldn't either.
They're gonna say I'm bald. Ooh.
I did that
Show
with
me where my
friends.
blind spots
I
are.
am on r/bald. Okay.
No, like I had some friends who like went on like r/roast me and like got roasted and then like felt really bad about it afterwards. And I was like, yeah, like I can, I can see that like thinking it's gonna be fun and then finding out like no, it's not. That seems like that would be an experience that would kind of suck.
I've thought about doing it, but I probably need to like consult my therapist about it and like
yeah.
put a little like experiment together. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, please don't say anything that's mean about
Don't
us.
say anything
No
mean.
mean things. Oh, my feelings will get hurt.
But it is a real discussion though about the fact of, I mean, it's just like if you put yourself out in the open, just in like a normal social situation, and you say something, you're more open to criticism if you talk than if you don't talk, right? And it's the same online. If you put yourself out there, listen, I am a hater first and foremost. That is my number one personality trait, is being a hater. Okay,
Hater first, feminist second.
Yeah, yeah. And so that yeah, I don't know. It's like I criticize. Like I said, I call people losers online all the time. Now, let it be known, I try to stick to calling people losers because of their opinions that are typically conservative, right? But like, I mean, that's the thing. If you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there, and that's what you happens.
but I mean,
but you
okay.
also get the benefits of it, right?
Right, you can get some benefits about it, and I think that there's also this degree of ironic detachment that you experience that people, like, especially through the veil of anonymity, anonymousness.
Anonymity.
By being anonymous, that people will say things that are generally meaner, just in general, and
Calling him a loser.
right, like calling them,
Oh,
but also like
one of my first email addresses was sharkbait oohaha, like from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
sorry, continue.
I guess what I mean is that like you can't tell if people how truthful people are being, and how like honest in their assessment they are, and like even if you should like care about their opinion, because like some people I think you kind of maybe should care about their opinion, like. You know, like if I'm getting criticized
by me,
yeah, if
you should care.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But if you were just some random person, but you had the exact same opinions and you were right in the exact same way, I should still take that opinion seriously.
Yeah,
So,
but I think that there's a
if you don't
very
know
big
that-
difference
yeah.
between opinions and being rude. And people online, like again, when I call someone a loser, I'm not being constructive. I hope that they feel bad about themselves because that's because they've said something there that we need to feel bad about, right? But like, it's important to be able to notice the difference.
I don't know if I
like
take
that.
any negative feedback anonymously online personally at all. Like the only opinions that are like constructive criticism are from the people I see on a regular basis. That's all that matters to me.
I think the only real rule is that if you can take it, feel free to dish it. You know, like I do not deal well with people being mean to me for no reason, so I don't do that.
Yeah.
But if Aqua can, then go at it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, more so, it's just the fact of it. So another example of this is something that me and Maddie talk about a lot, which is like when someone writes a book, right? Then your literature professor, 50 years on from that says, oh, they made the curtains blue because of this, blah, blah, blah. They may have just named it blue in the story and it has nothing to do with it. But the fact is, once you put it out there into the world, whether or not it's good that this happens, it's up to the interpretation of the reader then 100%. Even if you come out and clarify, if they don't read your interview, it's their interpretation is all that
Death
matters,
of
right?
the author.
Yeah, and it's the same thing where it's like if you put yourself out there, you're opening yourself up to that criticism, and that's just how it is. And that's part of being out there. That's part of you have to understand the risks involved with doing that.
Yeah. It just sucks that the people that are having the meanest opinions are the ones that are most likely to write.
It's me.
It's fucking 1 stars or 5 stars, dude. Comes back to a review.
They're all 1 star.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of extra intellectual discourse, shall we get into the watch of the week?
Whoa, watch of the week.
Take a little quick break.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does anyone want to take a shot?
Skull.
Gross. Bitches think they are. I think bitches weenies.
You can't say that shit when I'm taking a shot, bro.
It's the watch of the week.
Watch of the week. This week's watch of the week is Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Season 5, episode 36.
We definitely didn't
This is the
record
first
this
time
episode
we've talked about
before
this
show.
and had
For
technical
sure.
difficulties.
It is called
Dungeon Train.
Dungeon Train.
Yeah, that's right. So, very brief synopsis is that Finn and Jake find a train that's infinite, and they climb into it, and it's like a series of dungeons, series of rooms.
By infinite, he means it's just in a circle.
It's just in a circle, but they
Yeah.
go through it, and he fights enemies, and then gets the loot, and then goes to the next train and car and fights enemies, gets the loot.
Like
it just goes in a
Skyrim.
circle. And Finn kind of gets caught in this cycle, and he wants to keep doing it, and Jake is like, no, you can't, because you're gonna get stuck doing this. And then at the end, they resolve it and everything.
Yeah, so similar to how Patrick talks about how Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and Drake and Josh have episodes with a similar plot.
Patreon. That's on Patreon.
I'm gonna be honest. You said Patreon, and I lost my entire train of thought.
You lost your dungeon train of thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar to how what does Patrick have to say about Sweet Life of Zach and Cody?
They're the same episode. What is
If you
want to
find out what happened, what Patrick's ideas are on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody and Drake and Josh, go to our Patreon where it's gonna be. Anyways,
I do not know what I was thinking.
it's all right.
Adventure Time. Rick and Morty?
What is there another show with the same plot as this episode of Adventure Time?
Zach and Cody.
The format's
Drake and
the
Josh,
same.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Or
I'm trying to think
something.
of what I was referring to. I have no clue. Spy Kids 3D.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely related.
The one without Steve Buscemi?
I know. That one's better, but this is a more apt comparison. Spy Kids 3D Game Over, by the way. Sorry, that's the full name.
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, banger movie, but we're talking about Adventure
Starring Elijah Wood.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck.
So
I need to watch it.
this episode. So one of the reasons I really like this episode is, I don't know, there's something about like going.
Did you say starring Elijah Wood?
Yeah, Frodo Baggins.
Yeah, dude. He
In
was in
Game
Spy
Over?
Kids
Yeah,
3D.
Game Over.
He's
the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy with like the big gamer tag that they're trying to fight against. He's the one he's like the best player in the game.
Oh,
Is
high
this live
score, dude.
action?
yeah.
What is Elijah Wood's gamer tag?
I got Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frodo 69.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Base
say something
69.
about like
Frodo Swaggins.
Ring,
yeah. Okay, perfect.
ring
yeah,
job.
That's it.
Ring job. Yeah.
What's the elven bread called?
Landless bread.
Lembas.
Lembas bread.
My everything lembas bread.
Yeah. Nice.
By the way, I didn't even mention it, and I'm sorry I didn't when we were talking about fits. But Patrick, your beanie is fucking amazing. Who made it? Who's the designer?
My wonderful and talented girlfriend Deshanique
Hey.
made it.
Yo,
A queen.
shout out Dej.
She made it for
Give us a
Morgan.
close up, please.
Ooh.
Look at
Whoa,
that.
color changing.
Oh, sick fade.
The spinny hair too.
Wow.
Wait, is
Oh my
it your
god.
is it your same like black and yellow beanie but just bigger? It just
No,
grew?
it's ombre. That takes a whole other. Fuck.
I believe
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a lot of effort. She made it for Morgan, and then he moved, I guess. So we haven't been able to give it to him. So I'm wearing it. I'm trying to rep. She makes things so often. I'm gonna try to like rep a different thing that she made every episode.
Can she make me something? Gotta hit her up.
It's cool that she's getting that. I remember when her and Maddie were first talking about crochet. It's cool that she's like doing stuff now and consistently getting out there. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, she started like a whole Depop, and she's selling shit to people now.
Nice. That's sick.
Wow.
Oh yeah, good for her.
Drop shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she- what's up with the goose? She got the goose still, or did she sell that?
No, she got the goose. That's for her.
Okay.
She got the goose.
Yeah.
Just for
Give me the
her.
goose. Give me the goose.
No,
I'm a
that's just for
bad,
her.
bad
Will
man.
you ask her to send me that beanie pattern?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I think it was really just one thing of yarn that already had an ombre pattern in
Oh,
it.
nice.
Yeah. But I don't know for sure. I'll have her tell you if not.
Notorious GOOSE. That's all. Anyway, okay, back to Adventure Time.
This is the worst fucking watch of the week we've ever done.
Back to Adventure Time. There's no Elijah Wood.
I don't remember if this was confirmed in other episodes or not. Maybe this is something that I made up. But I think that the boss figures in Dungeon Train are other passengers going on and
Yes.
competing.
I think you did. Yes, we have talked about this.
And I that's just interesting with like Finn's hero journey, where he is always, his purpose is to protect you and do good for everyone around him. And in this case, he is I don't know that they actually die or anything like that, but he's killing mercilessly. It's as if he's treating real life like
It's
a video
just so
game, and
fun.
he's just diving right into it and losing himself in the opposite of what he stands for.
Lose yourself in the dungeon train.
It's interesting. This definitely has the vibes of that Rick and Morty episode. Sorry to bring that up again, but like, where
It's
Rick-
all right.
or
Justin
Morty-
Roiland's not canceled anymore. He beat the allegations.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, he did beat the
This episode makes me think of Stardew Valley and Skyrim and all the other games I get obsessed with for like month-long periods and can't stop.
Yeah, I think so we didn't do like I mean, you did a kind of an overview, but I think that like this is obviously a discussion about playing video games. Right,
Well,
and like getting lost in playing video games
And
instead of going and living
specifically,
normal life.
like after a breakup, too, like Finn's like
Right.
kind of not in a good place because he's starting out asking weird questions like, "What is soup?"
Yeah.
What is the meaning of
What's the meaning of
soup?
soup?
The
Yeah.
meaning of spoon.
But he didn't think to ask what the meaning of Bumpy soup is.
No.
Big,
What
big
is-
L.
What is the meaning
Well,
of
no,
bumpy
it's
soup?
because he knows the meaning of bumpy soup. The bump is
He's
within
just
him.
dissecting it. Well, okay, if you this is a episode about video games, but like I'd like to take it a level further. This is about the chase of dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Video games?
And what I think the episode missed at is you don't really see him crash ever. You just see him try and hit it over and over and over
the
again.
shortness of this episode was really felt for me. I agree. I felt like the story didn't really finish.
He
It felt
just had like a little
concluded, but-
realization
They
and then
wrapped it
decided to
up
go back.
really
That
quickly.
that felt like that resolution was too easy.
With the shortness of episodes, a lot of context comes from the surrounding episodes. Because before this happened, before the train, if I remember correctly, Finn had been despondent. He's upset over his breakup with Flame Princess.
It was the episode from before, right? With when they find the.
There's one in between.
Oh, okay, right.
But he's dealing with his breakup from Flame Princess, and as well as opening his vault and dealing with his own personal past life issues and who he is and what it means to be the only human in Oo and all of that. He's trying to figure out who he is through doing the actions that he's been told he is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So this is like our protagonist is lost. Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. I had some thoughts. So at the beginning of the episode, Finn asks, "What is the meaning of soup?" And then in the middle of the episode, after what's his name, Jake leaves and then comes back down, he comes in and Finn is all decked out. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's like, "I'm all souped up." Dope. That's the meaning of soup.
That's what
Ooh.
soup
He
is.
found it.
Yeah.
You know what I like is that when we're stickering places, by the way, stickers, we have stickers. Brad has stickers on the back of his phone.
I sure do.
Yeah. If you see them around town, let us know. Tag us.
Please take a picture.
Yeah, but
and send it to us.
we're calling that action of putting a sticker on a place as souping the place up.
Souping it up.
I'm all souped up.
Calling all soups.
That's the meaning of soup.
Yeah, the meaning of soup is upgrading, and this kind of constant slosh of things that like mishmash, because like all of his outfits are actually a mishmash of just like kind of whatever he finds. He just kind of chooses the best things or whatever he wants and he puts them on, and just kind of getting better, but not really going towards any distinct purpose except to continue getting more souped up.
Yeah, I feel like this is an interesting, like the concept of, Skyrim is a great example of like, what's the point of playing Skyrim, right? When like there's no, like there's leveling and stuff, but you don't like get anything at the end, what I mean? You're just doing whatever you do. I think it's like an interesting way. Maybe it's just because it's Adventure Time and the medium that they put out there, but like it's just an interesting way to tackle that. And like what they're implying about that isn't necessarily that like playing video games is wrong, but it just is like the getting too caught up in it or using it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
right?
I think you can apply that to anything, right? Well, go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, this is like the one thing that I really wanted to bring up is that it reminded me of one of my favorite Greek myths from back in like middle school when we were learning about mythologies from different ancient cultures and shit. There's one of my favorite myths from back then when I learned is like this island. It's called like it's in Homer's Odyssey. But at one point in their journeys, they come to like this island of this group of people that never leave. Because they're all just like really content with what they're doing there and it's like really peaceful. And it turns out that they're all just addicted to this fruit that grows on the island.
Oh.
And this really reminded me of that. But this, like in Homer's Odyssey, it is more to do with addiction. They're all addicted to the fruit and it keeps them there. And I actually like this one more because it's more about like escapism and it's more about like your choice to stay there to avoid your problems.
So I just looked it up. It's Djerba, Djerba, was the lair of the lotus eaters on Odyssey Island. Addictive lotus flowers group.
You know, this is one thing about Adventure Time in general is that, and it's hard because we recorded this episode and then there's some technical issues. So like there's some of the things that we talked about that I feel like I'm going over, but this is the first time. But like Adventure Time is really interesting in that it's this kids show and they do it great at like making it a kids show but making it good for adults also, and then they tackle these types of issues and they deal with them in ways that are appropriate for children, but it's not dealing with the issue. It's not just saying like, oh, kids are too stupid, they can't deal. It's saying like, hey, like, you know, addiction or escapism, like here are real things that you're gonna deal with at some point, and you know, maybe the idea is if you have this understanding of it beforehand, you'll be able to avoid the negative parts of it, or maybe it's just I don't know, but it is like Adventure Time does a great job about addressing these types of issues in really cool and interesting ways, and stuff that like even if you take nothing from it, it's still entertaining, you know?
Yeah, like watching Adventure Time is how I got off crack.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you gonna say?
This episode, like, it tells two stories because it's Finn dealing with his emotional problems on the train, but also Jake is the one who took him to the train. The whole time they're trying to find the cave, the weird cave. There was no weird cave. Jake knew that this train was here, and
Really?
I'm pretty sure. It seems like that throughout the episode, and if I remember the rest of it correctly, Jake knew. Like, Jake's intention was get Finn to this train because maybe it will help him, and then Finn gets lost in the train, and so Jake has to deal with, I am trying to help my best friend and brother through this really hard time, and I'm doing it wrong. And he sits on the talking to the hair ape on the top of the train, and he never leaves. He never leaves. Finn and goes home.
I love that the ape like invites him to lay on his lap.
I know. It's just like
and then the next morning he's ready to zap him.
I think it's a really interesting point though. Yeah.
One of the best bits is the hair apes generating their static electricity power through rubbing their hands together.
I didn't catch that. That's great.
Good. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
I had a couple little bits, which is that the metaphor is about dating at the beginning, where he keeps mixing them, where he's like,
fall off the horse, but then you get back up on it.
There's a bunch of fish in the sea, and you gotta find a different fish, and a penny saved is a penny earned.
No, that has nothing to do with it. He's like,
bicycle.
Yeah, that's good advice. He's trying to help.
Yeah, the ant puns are good. This whole room is the whole place is butter. He's talking about that, where Finn is eating the. He's like, it's like when you made those cookies, and he's like, it's because they were mostly butter. All you liked was the butter. This whole place is butter.
He's like, yeah, it is.
I really like the battle moon.
Yeah,
and I really like when they look into the future self. The battle moon has grown in a battle Earth. That the battle moon is then circling around as it circled around him. And I think my favorite thing that he gets, though, favorite piece of loot, is the pendant with the 3 eyes on it. I think it just looks cool.
I like how at the beginning when they discover what's in the train, Finn says, "It's spicy baby fun."
Yeah. So something that I think about with Adventure Time a lot is the 10-minute episode thing, right? And like how that changes things. So imagine if like these first 3 episodes of Good Show instead had to be 11 minutes, 11 to 12 minutes, right? Like how does that change things, right? In that like, do you reduce what happens in the story? Do you reduce the extra narrative stuff that happens around the story? And how do you still make that feel full? Right.
Well, one thing is that you don't have to aim for realism. You can just jump into something and like, there's an infinite train, and then like suddenly the plot is there, you know. Well,
and the ending is just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go home. Come home when you, because it ends so soon. You don't have to have a satisfying ending. You just say, okay, that it's gonna restart.
Also, animation, like a lot of stuff is unlocked there. Like when you're doing live action, you have to like kind of be anchored in real life, unless you want to get into FX.
Yeah.
They released the episodes in like, it was always Adventure Time and then Adventure Time. It wasn't just a 12-minute burst and then on to the next show.
Right.
So a lot of the episodes come in pairs as if they were one
Oh, yeah.
entire
That's
episode.
true to think about, right? Is that like, yeah, like you normally, like if you're on
Yeah.
TV, you've never watched one Adventure Time episode. It's
Yeah.
always the two.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob is
Interesting,
the same
yeah.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out
That's
SpongeBob.
interesting. Yeah. Shout out. Nobody knows about
We
SpongeBob.
need to do a SpongeBob episode for Watch of the
Definitely.
Week.
If you got a SpongeBob episode that you want us to
Leave it in
review,
the
go ahead and
comments.
throw it in the comments. And if
Actually, no. Patrons get to suggest Watches of the Week. So if you're in our Patreon,
go ahead and throw in our Patreon comments.
It's a giraffe.
Thanks, Patrick.
One thing I actually thought was really interesting is at the end of this episode, Finn's like, you know what, man? Like, I realize that we like, I'm not gonna do this forever, but I'm gonna play for a week or two, and I'll meet you back at the house. Like, and so he says, like, I'm gonna keep doing this for a little bit, and then I'll meet you back there. Like, there's this like recognition of him still wanting to do it, and him finding like moderation, even though it's like playing for a week or two,
yeah.
is still considered moderation,
Yeah.
even though like they've only been doing it for a day. But I think that there's, I don't know, something interesting there.
there is. That had me thinking. I think like the surface level takeaway from this is like video game bad. Video game addiction off of a breakup bad, but get lost in the butter for a couple of weeks and then come out of
Right.
it eventually. Like,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
jump back on
it
the
doesn't
wagon.
imply
Yeah.
because at the end with him, it doesn't
Jump back
imply
on the
video game
horse.
bad. It implies escapism bad, right? It says
Yeah.
like you're fine to play video games as long as you're not like getting sucked into them for. I mean, I guess more than a week is
Yeah.
what this implies.
And they do play video games throughout the
Emo.
throughout the series. They're big video game boys.
And something this is just more about the show in general. Like trying to pick out an episode to review to like cover the whole show is so difficult because of the amount of characters they have that are important characters, and like you never get Lumpy Space Princess and Flame Princess and Bubblegum
Yeah.
Princess and the little elephant girl and and Ice
and
King.
there's so many good characters
And
too.
they're all and like it's
So
weird
different.
because it's like it's such a genius idea to have like all these different characters who are strong and like you can go to them for different things.
Yeah.
To have Ice King and Marceline's backstory be one of the most heart-wrenching things in all of media, but they are the two side characters.
What's their backstory?
So Marceline was born before / during the Mushroom War. Her dad was a demon, the demon king, and her mom was just a regular human. The Mushroom War happens along with, I think, like a sickness. Her mom gets sick and dies, so she gets adopted by this other human who's just kind of wandering around named Simon. Simon is searching for a crown that has magical powers and can grant like one specific wish, but that crown turns him into the Ice King. So Marceline is the only one who has ever known Ice King as Simon, and throughout the series she refers to him as Simon.
Wow.
And he's also the only one who ever really knew Marceline other than Princess Bubblegum, but she's still pretty new in the scheme of things. And the Ice King doesn't remember Marcy even a little bit. He knows Marceline the Vampire Queen. He doesn't remember the little girl that he raised because the Ice King is different from Simon.
Wow.
Sad.
And like you've talked about Adventure Time before, like hearing you talk about Adventure Time makes me want to watch all of Adventure Time. Yeah.
The thing is that it deals with these adult situations, right? Real stuff in like really good ways, in ways that are appropriate for both adults and children. And, it's something that we talked about on the last the last one that we did, but we didn't do this one. Is Princess Bubblegum, and just as a character, there was this post that we saw that was just talking about her, and she is crazy in that like she fills every single role that you could need out of a character. She is both a friend to Finn as well as serving as the villain role, as well as serving as like she's also the queen who has all these different people who she rules over. Like she's just like a crazy character who fulfills every role, and there's not very many characters that do that same thing.
Dynamic. Yeah.
It's a good show. It really is. It
Good show
is better than it pretends to be.
Brad, who's your favorite side character in Adventure Time?
Oh man, I think Lumpy Space Princess is my favorite. Maybe
It's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
yeah.
What's the little elephant girl?
Tree Trunks.
Tree Trunks. Yeah, that's my favorite. I love Tree Trunks.
Yeah.
I love that they
Tree
made her
Trunks is
slutty.
good.
Yes,
they did. They fucking did. That was in an episode after this one, right?
Huh?
Tree Trunks like seduces someone
Yeah,
in the forest, or
she has like 5 husbands, 4 of which she left for the next one. There's a whole episode about her like keeping an engagement ring and having to give it back, and like she doesn't want to do it.
yeah.
Girl boss.
Yeah.
she's just got like this old voice too.
Yeah. No.
It's
I
like
think it's
this
actually
old Southern lady.
Yeah.
I think it actually is like Pendleton Ward's like mother's friend.
Yeah,
Like, it's just some random.
she passed away too.
They have that one thing about the show is that they have such perfect voice actors. The aesthetic of the show, they have really good character design, and that like all the characters are really nice to look at, but also the voice acting on all of them like really just brings those characters to life so in such a fun way,
Yeah, and that's maybe my favorite thing about Lumpy Space Princess too. It's just like it's obviously like a kind of masculine voice that is just being very sassy and very feminine, and it just makes it so much more fun for that character. Like it's hard to explain, but it's just like it couldn't be any other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this show a lot. I haven't seen all of it all the way through. I've seen a good amount of it, but not all of it. Have you guys finished it?
No.
Okay, here's a take.
I have not seen all of it.
Adventure Time is the Nightmare Before Christmas of the 2010s.
No. Because hold on. This is Nightmare
it
Before
does have
Christmas.
that hot topic factor.
It has
to
the
it.
hot topic
No.
factor.
Nightmare Before
Yeah.
Christmas is like all the most annoying people in the world. They're just most favorite thing.
Yeah.
Adventure Time does
There's
not
no
fall under that
Disneyfication of
same-
this.
Yeah, it doesn't fall under that same category. I get what
You
you're
don't
saying, but it's
You
not.
You don't have an Adventure
disagree.
Time family sticker set on the back of your Honda Odyssey.
Alec, as someone,
I bet that there is.
I actually would kill for like a Jake and Lady Rainicorn and all of their kids family
That's not a
sticker
bad thing.
set. That would be cute.
Well, go ahead, Patrick.
Blink 182 never said we can live like Finn and Jake if we want.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
No, and like here's the thing is that you're taking that from a negative perspective that says that Nightmare Before Christmas is like, the fans are like bad and like cringy, which I don't think they really are. I think that's a really easy take to jump to, but I don't think it is. I think the Nightmare Before Christmas is a banging ass movie, and
viewers, Alec was seen growing up.
I was not. I wasn't. And actually, when
wasn't.
I was like in high school and stuff, I did look down on shit like that. But I've grown up and I've realized that no, that movie rules, and I get why people are so attached to it, and I get why Adventure Time rules, and I also get why people like if I was in high school, I would find people that were super into Adventure Time annoying in the same way that I would in that, and I would have been wrong because Adventure Time is sick.
See, I don't know. I don't think Adventure Time had the same cultural impact as.
I don't think it
Nightmare.
did, at least in
Being
Utah.
in high school during that time, it wasn't that type of thing. I know what you're saying. It wasn't quite that way though. In the way that maybe BoJack was. BoJack was after high school, but I feel like it's had a similar impact. in
Tim
that
Burton
way.
historians, go ahead and jump down in the comments. Let us
Don't
know.
let's avoid that
Do we have
topic.
any more comments about Watch of the Week?
I love the joke in the very beginning where they're waiting outside of the train for 2 hours, and then Jake stretches up to see when the end of the train is coming.
Could've done
And
that.
it took you 2 hours to think
Yeah.
of that?
Yeah.
He
I'm
says
also-
like, "Oh, stonk," and I'm like, "Oh, the original stonks."
His figures
Here
of
we go.
speech are
Yeah.
great. He's also like laying on top of the train with the hair gorilla guy. He's like, I wonder what my kids are doing, and his
Yeah.
eyeballs turn into like
He-
stars.
Sorry.
That was
My
great.
kids.
Bling
Yeah.
bling.
Also, so he has kids with what that unicorn.
Lady Rainicorn.
Yeah, and like they grow up super fast, right? And so they just kind of like grow up and are able to live their lives without him really quick.
One of the episodes I was thinking about choosing was in the last season. One of Jake's sons asks Jake and Finn to go investigate their parents' little office building. And it's just really funny how Jake's son, due to growing up at the speed that rainicorns grow up, is so much more of a business professional, and Jake's just a kid. He's 28, but he's just ready to go on a little adventure.
Yeah.
And his son needs him, so he's gonna go do it.
Fun. Yeah. Rainicorns must have powerful DNA that there are no dogs that come from that marriage.
Rainicorns in this story follow the similar timeline as dragons in Shrek in hooking up with donkeys and
Oh,
dogs.
yeah, that's like
There's
a really
the
good comparison
rainicorn
there.
dog wars.
Are there?
Yeah, rainicorns and dogs do not get along.
Right, but like none of Jake's kids are dogs, correct? They're rainicorns.
The one that is voiced by the same guy who does Tina Belcher's voice looks much more dog-like. They're all colorful, but they do have very dog-esque features.
Okay.
Cool.
I also really liked, this is just another thing in the episode, but Jake's off pouting in the corner because Finn isn't listening to him anymore. He wants to leave the train. He's like, let's go to the cave. That would be fun. And Finn's just not listening. And so he sits off in the corner and he's pouting and he's just like angry. And then like a pair of pants as loot just come flying next to him and he's like, oh yeah. And he puts them on. He's just like, yeah, but I'm still mad. I'm just like, that's great.
They have these little bits of humor, right? Or like little like jokes where it's like I don't know, this isn't a kid show. This is just pretty funny, you know.
Putting
Yeah.
on pants is an adult thing.
Yeah.
It sure is. If you find a good pair, man, like yeah,
Shirt
I'm
for
gonna take
pants.
that shit. That's fine now.
Childish.
The very end where Finn tries to convince Jake that he will come home and hands him the future orb, and they're just at home washing dishes together. That's just the
that's
kids'
it.
version of in another life I would do laundry and taxes with you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And
The future orb logic in terms of like predicting the future is actually pretty bad. It seems like basically just based on what's currently happening and guessing, extrapolating. It's like
I also said this on the last pod, but it's worth bringing up again. Just the language used in Adventure Time that is just so silly. Like when Jake says blingle, blongle, bloongle, and it's just like that's shaped part of my personality. It's just like still who I am today. Like I'll always, me and my brother just say stupid stuff like dingle doop donkus to each other was like my name in my brother's phone. And yeah.
Well, it's the specific type of silly word too,
Yeah.
right? Like they use this specific brand of silly, which is like dingle doop, right? It's like
Yeah. And dingus, like I
dingus is
they
a big one.
popularized dingus, and it's
Did
like
they?
that actually
Damn.
stems from like Belgium, and like it is like a word that means like basically thingamajig or a whatever,
Okay.
but a dingus. And then just them using it over and over in Adventure Time is like they were
So
using it
did
the right
they
way
go
too.
to Belgium and find that, or is that just
I don't
a
know.
word that
That
came up with?
it's and it's
Perplexing.
not like Adventure Time's the only one who's ever used it, because this is a word that like does have that meaning that goes back, and people have called things that dingus over there, but it's like I don't know. It just works so much better in the context of a silly cartoon, and you're just like, oh, dingus, it sounds like a fucking wiener or something, and I don't know. You fucking dingus.
The use of math as an expletive is
Yeah,
it's
really
really good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cram.
Yeah, and that's another one where it walks this like childish line, right? But it also like keeps it where it's adult enough, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good show.
It is.
We want to name this episode?
Oh, wait, one sec. One thing I'd like to do really quick here, just in appreciation of Scat. Scat ranked Anthony Fantano reviews and rated them. So I would like to rate Scat's review of Anthony Fantano reviews. I don't have the video.
God.
Here we go. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm gonna give that Ryanthony Scat Tano.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
That's all.
To his reviews as a whole?
Yeah.
As a whole.
His entire
Was
season.
it like a decent 7?
Yeah, that's like a
light to
light
decent
8.
7.
Light 8.
Okay,
Yeah, light
okay.
to decent 8. Yeah.
I've actually watched like Anthony Fantano for like a decade now, and I'm not ashamed of that. I unfollowed him like when he gave somebody a bad review. I don't even remember. And then I was like, I actually discover a lot of cool music through you, and I don't have to agree with you. And he acknowledges this
Truth.
too, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
he's actually a pretty decent human being.
I don't know if anyone like religiously watches Anthony Fantano videos. Like, I respect their opinion on music less, right? It's like you can't get your opinions from him. Like, everyone, I feel like who I respect their opinions
Well,
have gone
you're
through the
not
same
getting-
thing as you.
If
right?
you watch someone, you're not getting your opinions from them.
Yeah,
Well,
if you have to watch their review before you like form your own opinion about an album, you're doing
like,
it wrong.
I know that I used to watch his videos before I listened to an album, and that is like not good, right? I think everyone who I like with music opinions that I respect a lot has like listened to his stuff and then been like, this isn't helpful for my opinion. I need to go and make my opinion, and then I can go watch these things, right? And I think that you have that same thing where it's
Yeah, you're like, I hope he likes it, but if he doesn't, fuck him.
and that's important.
Yeah.
He's the spark notes of the music industry.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think that's what reviewers can do is they can give you vocabulary to discuss a piece of media.
This is mostly just for Alec, but did you see when he roasted Bo?
Bo?
Yeah.
Bo Burnham.
Bo,
no,
the artist Bo?
band from Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What did he-
That was kind of like, it was like kind of funny, but also a little like,
Yeah, well,
Bummer.
so Anthony Fantano does not like emo math rock, all that stuff.
No,
Boo.
and that's like the main thing that I kind of have to take from him is like, I have to treat his opinion on anything other than hip hop with like very much like pounds of salt.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Even when it comes to the things that he does like, it's like you're just some guy. But if
Yeah.
it's not hip hop, it's like your opinion is almost
This
worthless.
is a full circle moment,
not
I
even
think.
just that. Not only are you some guy, you're some guy that if I ever met in real life, I wouldn't expect to have the same opinions as, because he's kind of just a nerd. I wouldn't think I'd have the same opinions as him.
What are you judging that based on?
Him being the
He's
internet's
bald.
biggest music
He's
nerd.
bald, he's vegan, and he's chunky.
And he's the internet's biggest music nerd.
But he's got the best teeth in the
He
game.
does have the best teeth in the game.
Yeah, I don't
White
know.
beneath
That's all I
Fandom.
really wanted to say is that if it comes to anything other than hip hop, his opinion is almost worthless.
Yeah, like that's the thing with Anthony Fantano is it's like I can guarantee it's like 99% of the time I'm gonna disagree with him. I just don't agree with him. That doesn't mean that he doesn't voice his opinions really well and there isn't reason for that to watch that. But like I just disagree with him almost all the time.
You hear
Yeah,
that, Anthony?
same.
That's fair. I think he understands that very well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we name the episode?
Indie soup.
No. No.
Let's see.
My everything something.
Oh,
Ooh.
my everything soup. Yeah.
My every
I
soup
want to do
burrito-
something Adventure Time
Bump
related.
burrito. Yeah, me too. Finn and Jake.
Take on the Twinks.
I was gonna say.
Let's go.
I chose not to say it.
I like my everything.
Yeah, my everything soup burrito. I feel like is really good.
What's an Adventure Time thing that could go there?
Um,
My everything pancakes.
My everything
my everything
burrito.
burrito is from
Is
Adventure
it?
Time.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, you could just do my everything
yeah.
burrito. That would just work.
I like that actually.
Okay.
my
It's
everything
simple.
soup burrito. I don't know. We don't
Soup
have
burrito.
Dungeon Twink.
We don't have to.
Bumpy soup takes on the dungeon twinks.
We're gonna go with my everything.
Twink dungeon.
I think we're gonna go with my everything burrito. Just
God, what is a dungeon twink?
Finn.
I'm not gonna answer that for you.
Finn. Yeah.
Dude, when he showed his hair in the episode too,
Oh,
it
yeah.
scared the
Yeah.
crap
So
out of me.
jarring,
I
yeah.
forget that he has anything under the hat. He
He's,
wears.
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
blonde, like, ooh, you know.
Okay.
That's worse than
Well-
being bald.
Will you take us out with a song, Aqua?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Where can people follow us?
They can follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, all those good things. Bumpy Soup or at Bumpy Soups, that sort of stuff. It's not turned on. Social media stuff. You can see it. Boom, Instagram. Hey, thanks for joining us. Bump bye.
Bye. The B in LGBT stands for bitch idiot.
Damn.
Woo!